Here are some themes I particularly enjoy in a fairy tale. 1. The common folk making fools of the powerful. 2. A healthy father figure. And 3. Gay! No, I will not be more specific. Today I'm sharing a fairy tale that combines all three of those things. You know you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love it so much that you're gonna have to snatch up this gorgeous book that I adapted it from. Tales from Beyond the Rainbow, 10 LGBTQ plus fairy tales proudly reclaimed. Thanks to Puffin Books UK for the permission to adapt it, and thanks to my friend who wrote the dang thing, fairy tale detective Pete Jordi Wood. Today I'm sharing The Falcon in the Garden. Long, long ago, there was a tiny kingdom far beyond the Ural Mountains that was known for two very different things. One was its frightfully dull, old-fashioned king. The other was a small, colorful, cozy church overseen by the town's beloved pastor and his spunky kid. Now let me paint a couple of pictures for you. Now the king, see, he was all about the binary. Town had stricter design rules than your worst gated community. Only black or white, and maybe some stone was permitted for architecture. King enforced strict gender roles, including appropriate hobbies and what you could wear. Plus, there were general rules on not showing too much personality or deviance, which not only made the king a bigot, but just so dang boring. But the church, interestingly enough, was the complete opposite. It was managing to flourish despite the king's attempts to squash them. It was one of the few colorful and playful buildings in town, and the building was too old and historically important to be destroyed. And the pastor who led the church was as bright and warm as the building he oversaw. His sermons were always flush with folks who came for the love and hope and humor he instilled in his service. His kiddo, a cutie named Vasilisa, she took all this in from the dad she loved, and she began to feel like the king should practice what her pop was preaching. So she quietly began to rebel. Dad, look at this sexy little hat that got left on a pew a few months back. Look how cute I am! Oh, heck yeah, kiddo, this whole look is working for you. Okay, Dad, don't freak out, but I found this hunting rifle down by the river, and I've been practicing, and long story short, we're having rabbit stew tonight. Talk about a first-class dinner. Dad, look at this horse I found out in the woods today. I think he's lost, and I've always wanted to learn to ride. Can we keep him? Okay, kiddo, you know I am happy to support whatever person you're growing up to be. But I do worry you're going to get in trouble with the king. Why? For all that moron knows, I'm a gent named Vasily. In fact, I think I'm going to use that name from now on. Welcome to the family, Vasily. Vasily began living as their more masculine self pretty openly. The community didn't mind. As long as nobody was hurting anyone, they had a nice live and let live mentality. Eventually, the king did notice Vasily because, frankly, it was hard not to notice them. They were so talented and funny and charming, you just wanted to be in their circle of friendship, you know? So the king asked his most trusted advisor for more information on this plucky gent. And, well, his advisor was a first-class bootlicker. That, your majesty, is the child of our local pastor. They call the deviant Vasily, but I have it on good authority that that is actually a girl living in violation of our kingdom's morals. Really? All I see is a very confident young man. I'm going to have this Vasily and his father over for dinner and try to find out more. The king sought out a local hermit, a witch named Taisia, who lived in a barrel. How can I tell if my guest Vasily is actually a man or a woman trying to trick me? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to hang a very beautiful, intricate piece of embroidery on one side of your wall, and next to it, you'll put an impressive weapon of some sort. If this person is a woman, they will no doubt comment on the embroidery first. But if they comment on the weapon, they are obviously a man. And so that's what the king did. And while Vasily did mention the embroidery first, it didn't really go the way the king thought it would. I didn't realize His Majesty was such an admirer of needlework. It's unusual for a man to show such appreciation for an art that is often considered feminine, but I admire your nonconformity. Okay, that explained nothing. Taisia, I need to try again, but with something different. All right, so for Vasily's next visit, cook some large pearls right into the meal. If Vasily is a woman, she will remove the pearls with care. But if he picks them out of his mouth with no more regard for them than a seed stuck in his tooth, then you know that Vasily is a man. But once again, Vasily's reaction wasn't as neat and tidy and plain as the witch said it would be. Wow, Your Majesty, you must be truly obsessed with jewelry to cook it into your meals? I truly did not expect a man who enforces such rigid gender roles to be so consumed with feminine things, but hey, I appreciate a good surprise. What is happening? Taisia, enough of this bullcrap! I need a more definitive way to tell this person's gender. Look, I don't know how to ask this without seeming like a pervert, but you want to know what equipment they're packing? You want to know if he's sporting an eggplant or a taco? Does he pee standing up? That's your question. Well, not in so many words, but... Well, it's creepy and weird, but I guess that's why you hired me. Why don't you invite the boy to a sauna at your bathhouse? If Vasily is a woman, they must refuse the invitation. Otherwise, everything will be revealed when they drop their towel. Vasily accepted the invitation, and luckily it ended up being really easy for them to avoid this invasive and non-consensual peek. For the king wore so much clothing and had such an elaborate pre-sauna routine that by the time he got downstairs, Vasily was already gone. Where did Vasily go? He finished his sauna and left, Your Majesty. He did, however, leave you this thank you note. Your Highness, you may fancy yourself a sleek and cunning raven, but a raven cannot surprise a falcon in the garden. I am not the he you perceive, nor the she you are trying to trick. I am both, and everything in between. Vasily never visited the palace again. They packed up their things, and they left the kingdom for a life of adventure. And as for the king, well, he's probably still trying to figure out what he was missing. The end. You can order your copy of Tales from Beyond the Rainbow now, so you can enjoy The Falcon in the Garden, as well as 9 other fairy tales celebrating queer heroes. These are all folk tales that have been brought to the surface by Pete, that we have been denied for far too long. And if you want to get your hands on a copy, well, you know, I'm going to put those links where you usually put them.